Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast, and today's been my episode 29, AEW Dynamite, the aftermath after Double or Nothing. So this started off with Tony Khan calling Hangman Adam Page the male winner of the Owen Hart tournament. So he is going to be facing John Moxley at All In. So you did have a few fans actually had a few signs. Was actually kind of funny. You had one individual saying that Hangman Adam Page will save us in 45 days when he wins the championship, and then you either saw someone else saying that it's been several months that we haven't seen the title on air. You did have Hangman Adam Page again, just thanking the crowd, thanking the fans to be behind him. The crazy thing is, he had another emotional, at least in my opinion, another emotional promo. Looked like he could have cried. If not, he acted that out very well. Um, and he gets into a little bit. The crowd is definitely behind him. Some of them are saying cowboy shit. Some of them are saying you deserve it. So the crowd was definitely behind Hangman. If I'm not mistaken, they were in Texas, so he definitely got that cowboy feel or that cowboy rub from the Texas crowd there. Um, you did have pretty much Hangman's going into it saying how much he appreciates everybody, but he takes off the Owen Hart belt and gives it to Tony Schiavone. Says, "But this is for the next individual for next year. My worries or my intention is to win the AEW World Title again, and to show everybody that I can be the man that I'm meant to be." A little bit as he gets into it, you know, whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve comes out looking pissed, looking pissed. He does come out, and you do see like Swerve kind of says, hey, Moxley cost me the title, but your boys cost me the title too. I almost had it won at Dynasty, and after Dynasty, your boys, the Young Bucks, and he plays like a vignette or a video package from the Young Bucks, pretty much saying, "You're welcome, Hanger. We did this for you. We know you didn't want Swerve to win." And Swerve and Hangman get face to face, and Hangman pretty much goes like, "Dude, if I wanted to screw you," he goes, "I would have done it to your face. Why would I had someone else do it for me?" He goes, "I want to win the title just as bad as you do. Why would I cost you the title? Yes, I promised that I would make sure you would never win the title." He goes, "But I almost helped you in that match." He goes, "I went directly for Moxley, and even though that I didn't assist you, I went after Moxley." He goes, "So yes, I don't like you. Yes, we have our past, but I did not do that. I did not ask them to do that. Yes, they are my friends, but they are on another level right now." And they get face to face, and then your boy Will Ospreay comes out and kind of gets in between. And he told Swerve, he was like, "Swerve, you're like a big brother to me, man." He goes, "Y'all got to get over this." You know what I mean? Like, he goes, "I wasn't the guy. You're not the guy." He goes, "Hangman is that guy. Hangman is him." He goes, "We have to push him. We have to back him because Hangman is the guy. So let's make sure we back him and support him. I got his back. I want to know if you got his back," type of deal. And Swerve pretty much says, "I will never team up with that guy. I will never help him," and says, "You're full of shit" to Hangman, and pretty much walks out. Um, Swerve pretty much, part of that though, he did smack the mic out of Will Ospreay's face, but Ospreay saying like, "Yo, it's not me, it's Hangman. Hangman's gonna bring that title back. Put that title back into everybody's eyes, showing that AEW can be that, where the best wrestlers wrestle, pretty much." So it was a good segment, honestly. Nice to see that Will Ospreay does have Hangman's back, like he said. He said, "Win or lose, I got your back," and it definitely shows it. A lot of people were saying that they wanted Hangman to be kind of like that heel character he was playing in New Japan, or when he first came to AEW, when he was working with the Don Callis family. But that's not the case, at least as of now. Will Ospreay is behind Hangman, and he wants Hangman to bring the title so everybody could see it and acknowledge the title for AEW. Um, right after that, though, the Death Riders, Moxley with his crazy antics almost walked into the wall, honestly, when he first came from outside into the arena. Comes out and apparently is the Death Riders, John Moxley, Marina Shafir, and Gabe Kidd versus Willow Nightingale, Speedball, and Mark Briscoe. Now I understand why the Death Riders, Moxley, Moxley, Shafir, and Gabe Kidd are there, and I understand why Willow's there for Team AEW and Briscoe's there because he was part of, or at least came out during the match in Stadium Stampede. But I have no idea why Speedball was there. Speedball had nothing to do with that match. They could have had other individuals, but it is what it is. They had an intergender three-way match. Um, you do have Gabe Kidd. They keep calling him the hired gun from New Japan. And from what I've seen lately, anytime they use someone from New Japan more than once, they typically sign with AEW in the future. So I'm pretty sure Gabe Kidd at some point is going to sign with AEW. Happened with Will Ospreay, happened with Kevin Knight, happened with Speedball. I know there's more, but those are the three that are jumping off the top of my head. But anytime that somebody kind of works with AEW for a short term, once their contract is up, they do sign with AEW, even if it's just a short term contract. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of Gabe Kidd. It could be feeding into Forbidden Door, but again, it's still the case. Anybody that works with AEW long term ends up signing with them. It was a kind of a weird match because I felt like Mark Briscoe's kind of like that one-off character, kind of more of a comedic speedball. They try to make him like this Taekwondo karate-esque individual. I don't take Speedball seriously. I would say I take Mark Briscoe more seriously in wrestling matches than Speedball, but that's just my opinion. Willow, I like what she's doing. Marina Shafir, I feel like she can be a great wrestler. She doesn't talk for shit like at all. I don't know if it's a language barrier or they just want her to look like that stoic individual, that bodyguard. But Speedball during this match was taking it to Moxley for a while. Gabe Kidd was taking it to Briscoe. They were all pretty much doing their thing. But there was a part that I saw kind of Gabe Kidd go after one of the guys on Team AEW and then kind of told Willow kind of like shut the fuck up or some shit and kind of spit in her direction. Don't know if that was part of the show, but that is mad disrespectful to spit on someone. I personally would have went to the back after the match and be like, yo, dude, what the hell you doing? But that's me. Like somebody spit at me, we gonna have some problems. That is one of the most disrespectful things you can do is spit at somebody, especially in their face. So hopefully that was just part of the show because Willow looked disgusted and pissed off when it happened. But during that match, you did, and again, Gabe Kidd was kind of like pulling her hair, like pulling her off the pin. It was just really awkward, like as if he was very upset that Willow was almost in the match. It could have been great acting, but he looked pissed off that she was part of the match. Willow and Marina Shafir, great rivalry between the two. But during the match, though, you did have like a quick little segment. You saw Chris Statler watching the match. Not sure what she has to do there. I know that her and Willow kind of aren't friends because of what happened with Stokely Hathaway, and Will let her know like I don't want nothing to do with you. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Chris Statlander is gonna join with Marina and be on the Death Riders, or she's gonna try to join with Willow again and be part of Team AEW. Um, Gabe Kidd, excuse me, part of that match, you had a lot of interruptions. Yuta jumped in, Claudio jumped in. It was just all hell breaking loose, like a typical match. Um, it was just, again, crazy. You had Claudio get involved. And then right when Claudio get involved, you saw Commander come out of nowhere, like tightrope across the ropes like he does, flips on the Claudio, take Claudio out, and they're like swinging on each other on the way out. Apparently they have a match on Collision. But with all that said, Moxley chokes out Briscoe with that, I think they call it the Pitbull choke or something to that effect. And the Death Riders with Gabe Kidd win. So bad guys on top. The Hurt Syndicate did have a segment from Double or Nothing. You pretty much had MJF just talking the entire time. The Hurt Syndicate didn't say shit. At least they don't. Not that I remember. They didn't say a damn word. Um, he's pretty much saying that we're the team to beat. There's no tag team in AEW that can take the titles from these two individuals. That's not going to happen. And especially that I'm here, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have them lose on my watch. And then MJF starts talking about, and I can't wait to get my triple B, baby. And that's going to be around my waist. These guys are going to help me secure that. I'm going to be on top again. And then, like I said before, Bobby Lashley ain't having that shit. You see Bobby look at him like, the fuck is he talking about? Like, this guy have his mind. So Bobby, like again, he ain't with that. In that group, out of the three, if you add, MJF in it, out of the three, Bobby Lashley should be the world champion before MJF. So there's definitely gonna have a feud, long-term feud. I see, you know, one of two scenarios. Bobby gets upset that MJF gets a title shot and kind of costs MJF the title shot, or MJF screws over the Hurt Syndicate and costs them the tag titles, and that works with them to end up having a match for the world championship in the future, or a feud in the future. Definitely see that being the case, one of those scenarios or something to that effect. But Bobby Lashley ain't having it with that little side eye. He ain't having that. He definitely wants that world championship around his waist. He's pretty much, they're just using MJF for the time being. So we'll see what happens. Um, so I'm to this next match I'm gonna get into. You had a bunch of stuff going off, honestly. Um, there was a lot of people that got hurt this episode. I think there was three individuals, so I'm gonna start off with two here. You had Megan Bain and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. Happy to see her back, and Harley Cameron. She's very, very interactive with the crowd. She's funny. She could sing. She could dance. She could wrestle. She has a damn puppet. This girl could do everything. To be honest with you, it was a hardcore match, which I was surprised. Typically, when the girls do a hardcore match, they're wearing like jeans. They're wearing t-shirts, so they're not getting cut up, if that makes sense, or getting damaged or hurt more. This one, they were just wearing the regular ring gear. They look all amazing in their ring gear. It was kind of weird seeing Harley Cameron and Anna Jay wearing black, because typically and then the other girls are wearing white. So when you see white, typically the people who wear white end up getting cut up and bleeding, but that wasn't the case during this match. So they all had their pretty good spots. Um, the crowd at one point did end up saying they want tables. You saw Anna Jay and Harley Cameron go out, grab tables. They actually powerbombed Megan Bain through the table. But after that, Megan Bain actually gets up and kind of like slams Harley Cameron. Sorry about that, Harley Quinn. Harley Cameron onto the steel steps. And right away, boom, she's bleeding from her nose. She got it. She broke her nose somehow. Um, I thought she was able to get her hands down in time, but the way she kind of pinned her hand, Megan Bain pinned her hand behind there. She only had the one hand. I think she didn't block enough, and she busted her nose up. You did see the medical staff trying to tell her, like, yo, come here. And she pretty much waved them off, like, fuck that, I got to wrestle, and jump back into the ring and finish the match. So there was another spot, though, that Megan Bain set the chair up and went for her finisher and dropped Anna Jay on there, and Anna Jay's face hit flat on the chair, and she too, boom, rolled out the ring, was out. Harley Cameron ended up finishing the match. You can tell Anna Jay was to the side with Anna Jay was to the side over there with the medical staff. She didn't come back to the ring. Harley Cameron finished the match. Penelope Ford and Megan Bain beat her down. They won the match. So Megan Bain and Ford did win. But unfortunately, Harley Cameron and Anna Jay both looked to have broken noses from this match. One of them hit the steel steps, like I mentioned. Anna Jay's face hit the ladder, and I keep saying ladder, but chair. And when she got up and they actually showed the camera visibly show Anna Jay's face, she had two lines across her nose. So almost as if she hit the back of the chair. But again, she wasn't wrestling. She took herself out. So as fast as she came back to the match, Anna Jay came back this past month. She might be out with a broken nose. And Harley Cameron was getting a big push, and unless she's got a broken nose too. So both of those girls might be out. So girls, I hope you guys have a speedy recovery, and kind of things like this happen, but to have it to both of you guys in the same match is pretty wild, to be honest with you. So hopefully you guys are okay. But again, Megan Bain and Penelope Ford take that match, that hardcore match or street fight, whatever you want to call it. And again, Anna Jay, Harley Cameron, hopefully you guys have a speedy recovery and get back in the ring, because the fans like to see you guys. So hopefully you guys get back there, and hopefully it's not a lot of damage. But again, I know you guys both, it looks like both of you guys have broken noses. So hopefully you guys, get back there and get back to the ring. Um, you did have another match later on. It was the Ops Trios match versus the Frat House. I guess this is new, or at least new to me. Maybe they came out on Collision or Ring of Honor, but um, the frat house was just pretty much acting like bros, talking shit, drinking, had their little red, solo cups. But during that match, Hook is still nowhere to be found. Hook did make an appearance at Double or Nothing, but Hook is still not around. And the commentary actually asked Taz, like, yo, what's going on with your son? He was like, yo, Hook is his own man. Hook hasn't told me shit. So I don't know. I know as much as you know. Hook don't tell me nothing. You're gonna have to wait till you hear from Hook. So I think Hook is upset that the Ops won the trios titles without him. He got taken out by the Death Riders. And I thought he would come back and just join the team. It was going to be kind of an awkward scenario, honestly, regardless that Hook wasn't, a champion, but you did have Hobbs come in and help out. Um, but during this match, you did have some wrestlers from AEW that have wrestled in the past, but you had the frat house, they were just like getting drunk or whatever, or acting like they were drunk, and decent match. The Ops did beat them. The crowd's yelling Joe, Joe as he's coming in. Hobbs gets in there. They meet again. They're just praising Hobbs. They all look strong in this match. Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe. They all look really strong. The frat house did okay. It's a weird gimmick. I don't see that lasting long, honestly, except for being like a jokey thing or whatever the case is. The Ops do pull that off. Um, but it was just a weird match. Like, yeah, the trios championship has been doing a lot of squash matches, and this was kind of the same thing. They squashed them because they even beat like the frat house came in with four main guys, and they had like some pledges to college or pledges to the frat house, and Hobbs just spine busted this shit out of I think like all seven of them. Like each one of them took a slam, took a spine buster to the back. So he slammed that entire team. But again, the Ops gets the win. We don't know what's Hook's scenario there, so we still got to see how that plays out. You did have a segment that what was her name? Renee had Jamie Hayter come to the ring. And honestly, this was probably Jamie Hayter's nicest outfit because some of her crazy outfits, she's trying to do like that 60s or 70s vibe. So this was probably her nicest outfit she came out. Well, she did come out. She was talking to Renee. Renee said, hey, what's next for you? You did lose the tournament. What's next for you? And just as she starts saying that, the lights go out. I thought it was going to be Julia Hart, because that's kind of how she plays out. She does that and she's like over someone or beating them down. But it's apparently somebody from Stardom, like Thicola or Thico. I'm not really sure, but she was. I did see a spider on the screen for a couple weeks on AEW Dynamite, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" I thought someone was like trying to do like a commercial for Spider Man, but it ended up being that this individual calls herself the Woman Spider. So she did at one point did like the upside down version of like walking on her hands, similar to Bray Wyatt. So she did do that, but they call her the Human Spider. So I guess her first feud there is going to be with Jamie Hayter, but she did take Jamie Hayter out and look strong over her. Very menacing facial expressions. So Jamie Hayter's next thing is going to be to try to take out this new girl from Stardom. Apparently, we're gonna have we are gonna have at some point Forbidden Door. So I guess they're just building off of that and having different promotions come in. Makes sense. They work with Stardom, they work with CMLL, and then they also work with New Japan. So we'll see how everything plays out. You did have Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher, and like I told people in the past, um, Kyle Fletcher, man, he's been putting in some work. I would say, other than MJF, he's probably one of the bigger heels right now. Yes, he's part of the Don Callis family, and for a while he was getting that rub from Don Callis. But the way Kyle Fletcher's been wrestling, man, this guy's a beast. Like a beast. Like he's doing hard moves, doing crazy acrobatic shit with people. Had that banger of a match with Will Ospreay, so he's definitely building himself up. Had a match with Adam Cole there for the TNT Championship. They were doing okay, going back and forth. But again, Kyle Fletcher can sell his ass off, and he can put in some moves that look crazy strong against his opponents. Adam Cole, it is what it is. He got the TNT Championship, but I don't see nothing off of that. Um, I feel like the best thing he had was his little gimmick or French best friendship group with MJF like last year, if I'm not mistaken. Went for the world title, nothing panned out. They were the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. But as of right now, don't see anything with Adam Cole. Even with this new group Paragon that he has going on, I guess they got rid of the Undisputed Kingdom, so now they got the Paragon group. It is what it is. But during this match, at some point, Adam Cole does get the better of Kyle Fletcher, and before he hits him with the knee, you do have Shawn Alexander come out, costs technically cost Kyle Fletcher the match, but Kyle Fletcher also didn't lose. So I see what they did there. They didn't want Kyle Fletcher to lose clean. So they used interaction or interference from the Don Callis family to make sure that even though he took a tie, like a draw, if anything, a DQ draw or DQ, he technically didn't lose. So he can always challenge Adam Cole again. And I think it makes a lot of sense, honestly, to have Kyle Fletcher win the TNT championship and then from there catapult himself to the world championship. Kyle Fletcher, guys, he gonna be there for a long time. I see him actually at some point breaking off from the Don Callis family, doing his own thing. Um, he got a lot of heat. He got a new look. Shaved his head, new ring gear. Calls himself the Proto Star. He gonna be a heel for years to come. Honestly, like he's gonna be in that role for a long time. But again, you had Shawn Alexander kind of do that. They kind of beat down on Adam Cole. You have Brody King come out, attacks them. Right after that, they had a match with Brody King and Alexander, which was already supposed to happen, but now they're out there, of course. Um, Brody King, does his thing. Shawn Alexander does his thing. Worked on his arm, his shoulder for a while. Went for a few submissions. Brody King is just that dog. He's that monster. This match was actually a qualifying match to see who faces Kenny Omega. So he's one of the four people. Brody King does end up winning this match. So Brody King is going to be one of the three people who wrestle against Kenny Omega for a four-way for that international championship. Um, but in all, it was a decent match. I'm happy Brody King is getting his wins there because for a while I did mention that he just losing. He's there to lose right now, at least in the past. Yes, Brody King is in this match and he won. Don't see Brody King winning against Kenny Omega. And that's just Kenny Omega. I don't see Brody King beating Kenny Omega, but there's also two individuals who are going to be a part of this match. They're going to have, I think, a match at Collision and possibly the next week on Dynamite for the third individual. But I don't see Brody King solo beating Kenny Omega. He's just very athletic, very acrobatic. So I don't see that happening. After that, you did see Kyle Fletcher in the back, like pissed off, like, why did he do that? I had it, man. I had it. This is bullshit. I had it. Why did anybody come to help me? You got Adam Cole, like, I'm gonna fucking kill you out of nowhere. Like, so they're definitely gonna have a feud down the road, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe they'll have a match for the TNT championship on All In. It is in a couple weeks, so that could be the case of just building up to that match. After that, though, for the end of the night, you did have CEO Mercedes Moné face to face with Tony Storm. So Mercedes is just pretty much just boasting about herself first. Before she gets into it, Tony Storm music hits, she comes out, and they just go face to face with each other and just start talking shit, or at least Mercedes starts talking shit. She goes, "Yeah, I got 4 belts. I'm just gonna attach your belt to mine, so I'm just gonna keep collecting belts." And Mercedes like, "Hey, I've been looking at you for a while since you got here, and you're finally here to challenge me." She's like, "But what took you so long?" Like, pretty much just throws that shit in her face. "What took you so long?" She goes, "I've been here. I've been having other matches, but you haven't been here. Like, it's been almost a year, and you just got to me." And Mercedes goes, "Patience, patience. I'm here now. That's what matters." And Mercedes just goes into it saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna win no matter what." The girls go into each other for a while. They try to hit their finishing move to each other. That doesn't happen. What's weird though is that during that segment, Tony Storm kind of like pulled Mercedes in and kind of sniffed her. I just don't understand where that came from. Almost as if she was like intrigued by how she smelled, or again, leaning into that she's attracted to the women, which she does that a lot and talks about that a lot, like how she likes how women looks, how their body parts are. So kind of like how a guy would talk about a woman, Tony does that as well, just very like quirky or very funny is to try to make it look like it's okay. Um, but again, they try to hit their finisher. Tony Storm kind of flirts with Mercedes Monet, and it just left off in a weird segment, like them talking about their match, and I'm gonna beat you. All right, come on, we'll see what you got to do, type of stuff. So it's just a crazy and all segment. Like they're talking about like, oh, I'm gonna beat you. Hey, yo, what took you so long? And then goes to sniff her. So that was just really weird, at least in my eyes, was weird about that. But again, I just want to end this episode by saying, hopefully, actually, Adam Cole also almost got hurt tonight as well. Kyle Fletcher went for a power bomb, missed the apron completely. Adam Cole kind of like, clipped the back of his head. So he could possibly have a concussion. So this was a botch fest today from AEW. I love AEW, but guys, y'all had some really bad accidents. Adam Cole could possibly have a concussion from being power bombed on the apron from clipping his back of his head. You have Anna Jay, possible broken nose, and Harley Cameron for sure broken nose. So 3 people got hurt today. Guys, hopefully you guys are all good. No concussions. Come back from a broken nose. Would like to see you guys in the ring again. So, guys, hopefully you guys are okay, get better. And, guys, for you guys, thanks for watching. Have a great one.